And welcome to another California Guy video with your boy California Guy. What's up, everybody? And welcome to this all new video. This is a response video to New Possibilities. Shout out to New Possibilities video on Tariq, Nasheed, Umar, Johnson, Dr. Boyce Walkers on the no voting campaign that they started. Now I'm gonna throw my opinion out there about what New Possibilities said. Now, for the last year of 2016, this is my analysis. This is my breakdown, really, and it kind of correlate with what New Possibilities said. Tariq, Nasheed, Boyce Watkins, and Umar have been, and other blacks too, have been saying how the Democratic Party hasn't really benefited the people of African descent. To some parts, they're right, and I'm not going to disapprove on some things that they said. Some of it is right, and then most of it is wrong. These men have attacked mainstream black leaders such as Jesse Jackson, Roland Martin, Al Sharpton, and different blacks that's more mainstream, and they've called them coons and whatever you want to call them. The purpose of the voting, now, it leads us to, because I'm kind of got my words mixed up. They've attacked these individuals like the year of 2015 and 16, especially Dr. Boyce Watkins. Before I think he hooked up with Tariq, he was already attacking like Al Sharpton and not Boyce Watkins. What's his name? Who was he attacking? Like Tom Joyner, people like that. That was during Obama's administration. So we had all these different opinions and attacks against. And Boyce had some points, by the way. He was attacking Melissa Perry and all these different individuals. As time went on, I guess he hooked up with Tariq, and Tariq shared a lot of his opinions. They said these guys were bought and paid for by white supremacy. Okay. Now, let's fast forward to last year, 2016. Tariq said for black people not to vote. Now, it looked like Tariq, in my opinion, because I listened to a lot of his radio shows, was following Bernie Sanders. It looked like he was following Bernie Sanders. But then when Bernie wasn't winning certain states last year, he was winning, like, I think Hillary took the South. Then, it was like Tariq threw him under the bus and said, okay, well, Hillary's no good, and, along with Donald Trump, they both are the same. Which, and I know I'm going to take heat on this video, they're not the same. Trump and Hillary is not the same. I don't care what any of you black people in this sector or black radio hosts say. They are not the same. Do not listen to that bullshit. So far, when you look at the campaigns of Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and even Donald Trump, in my opinion, is an extension of George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. That's what people voted for, and that's what Tariq said basically in his no voting campaign, was to vote for a fourth Bush term. He says he has no fear of white supremacists, but Tariq Nasheed lives in Beverly Hills. Tariq Nasheed doesn't have to deal with the stuff that us regular working class people deal with on the day to day. He is a author, best-selling author with a podcast. Well, some of us, we work jobs. Some of us are small business owners. Some of us, we live in the real world. So we vote based on our interests. But he's telling African American people to vote. Not voting is not voting for your interests. Because a lot of us African American people are not on a level of a Tariq Nasheed or a Snoop Dogg. So when he says to not vote, because so far the Republican Party over the last 8 years have been a very hostile party. They have restricted voting rights in several states. That was the Republican Party. That was not the Democratic Party. That Tariq says that is attacking black people. It's been the Republican Party. They have so far restricted voting rights in southern states, midwestern states. They've switched districts on purpose. They have gerrymandered certain districts. Then, what else the Republicans have done? They have stopped spending, and they've altered spending for certain communities. They stripped money indirectly from communities such as for poor African Americans. Now, let's get to Donald Trump. Now that Donald Trump has came into office and he says that him and Hillary is not the same, guess what Donald Trump has done? And again, shout out to New Possibilities for pointing this out. So far, they repealed the Affordable Care Act. So a lot of people will be losing their insurance over the next year or two. So there's a lot of people that's going to lose insurance. So far, and it hurts black people, by the way. Black people, they need the medical insurance. So if anybody want to talk about black, that's what black people need. He lied to the HBU of presidents, which they were played for a photo op, by the way, which is laughable on that. That's what they get. But he lied. He said he's going to fund the HBUs. He never funded it. He's talking about it's unconstitutional. So far, he's banned Muslims from coming into the country, American Muslims. He's put strict laws against Muslims. So far, he's attacked immigrants. He's trying to punish states and cities and taxpayers by not funding federal programs in sanctuary cities. So people, even if people agree with Donald Trump's message, they're going to get punished also because of the city or state that they're in that's holding these sanctuary immigrants in their city. Then you have the Supreme Court. He put a very radical Supreme Court justice into the seat, which they held the seat hostage a whole year. Now, I know a lot of you guys say, well, the Supreme Court is not important to you, it means nothing, but the Supreme Court is the most important thing in the United States. Facts. Next to the president, actually. The Supreme Court, because here's the difference. We can vote presidents. Our presidents come and go. Congress people come and go. Believe it or not, they could go, anytime. The climate change, you could get rid of the Congress. It could be a Democratic Congress, Republican Congress, independent, because that's how, America operates. But a Supreme Court could sit on the bench for 5 to 6 decades. Fact, Supreme Court could decide rights, like privacy rights, police powers. They could decide all kinds of different things. Civil rights cases, future civil rights cases. You may want to put your children, if you have children in school, and they may have districting problems that can affect you, that can affect us in our everyday life. And so by saying not to vote, the first thing the Republicans did, and I called it in my videos in the past, the first thing they did was they put a hard right winger in the office. That's the first thing Donald Trump did. They purposely held the seat hostage with a sitting president. They held the seat hostage for one whole year, going into 2017. And then the first thing the Republicans did, and they got more seats because, if blacks would have voted in certain states, they would have probably changed the tide of the election or the Congress, the balance of power. Republicans, they wiped away the filibuster. So they took away the filibuster from the Democrats. So now they censored any powers going into they censored basically the Democrats in fighting against very right-wing judges, whether it's at the federal or the Supreme Court, the appellate or the Supreme Court level. So all this no voting stuff, and that's a big deal because it deals with the Constitution. Supreme Court judges deal with constitutional cases. That means our rights is now in danger. Then let's go into war. Trump has already got his Iraq war now. He's got him and the neocons got 2 wars that they're trying to start, Syria and North Korea. So they're starting unconstitutional wars with other countries and getting the public going on this fake war that, again, Tariq, Dr. Umar, and other black people, they essentially voted for George W. Bush and Dick Cheney all over again. And no voting gets you a very radical, crazy president. And just imagine if more African American people would have turned out and they would have voted their interests. Whether it would have been Hillary, Bernie, or whoever, it would not have been this way. And he got Jeff Sessions. Shout out to New Possibilities for pointing this out. They got Jeff Sessions, a very bigoted Klansman, racist, and the Attorney General, who, again, is in charge of all police agencies all over the country. I repeat, he's in charge of all police agencies all over the country. So civil rights cases, again, hate crimes, will be ignored under Jeff Sessions.